Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Float Plan Podcast. I'm Matt Maynard, here with my good buddy Tim Boyle. And today we have a guest, and we're actually going to bring a little technology to you. So why don't you give us a little introduction?
Thanks, guys. My name is Dave Siegfried. I'm based here in Seattle. I know these guys through the Yacht Club. Professionally, I spend my time building AI native companies with venture capital firms here and elsewhere. And today we're going to take a look at something that I've been building for a few weeks called TidePilot.ai.
Yep. So if anybody knows what it's like to try to figure out tides, you've got narrows, you've got rapids. If you've gone up to Princess Louisa, you know you've got to time that going through. And this AI agent will help you plan that entire trip to make it enjoyable. Where did you come up with this stuff?
Yeah, so after years of making a lot of mistakes, so getting to situations that weren't as comfortable as we hoped they were, a couple months ago, I was in the backyard with Tyler Wilson, another club member, and we were discussing how difficult it is to gather weather and marine conditions, using windy and predict wind and pulling up, the Garmin and finding the tide tables, or maybe it's the new Raymarine that you haven't figured out yet. And then, asking the crew to help out. Nobody knows how to do any of this, let alone how to evaluate it to determine, are these the right conditions? And so it was Tyler's idea. What if there was one place that gathered all this information? What if there was an app that allowed you to share, hey, I want to go from here to here, and then it helped you evaluate the best time and window to do that based upon your own personal preferences and the boat that you're on. Yeah. And so we began building TidePilot.ai later that night.
And I've been playing with it a little. It's not just tides, it's swells and current. I mean, it's got all the data, right?
Yes. Yeah, so it's using the same models that Windy and other apps use. It turns out those are readily available. And so we decided to aggregate all of them, including live buoy data, and have that roll up into what's really this planning advisor that you can ask, should I do this? It doesn't make the decision for you. Human beings need to make that choice, but it can give you enough information so that you can know if you should go.
Then my next question then, is there a his and hers setting, or a his and his, or a hers and hers?
Yes and yes.
Because I know that there's different tolerances.
Yes.
It was probably blowing 40 knots today.
Oh yeah.
Right, and Jenny's looking at me. She's like, I can't imagine going anywhere. And there's this Nordhaven cruising out next to us, and I said, oh sure, I'd take the whaler out right now. So there's some variance there in what you can so you can set this to be.
That's really funny. I was in Norway a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And we were boating, and some new friends there. I was pulling up the app and sharing kind of what it did, and the wife of a buddy of mine that I had not met before asked the very same question. She's like, he likes to go out when it's too rough. Will this help me show him we shouldn't go? Yep. And so they have access now. They both have accounts. But yes, the idea is that you can set this up and it knows your personal preferences. So you might use TidePilot and it says favorable. Tim, let's go. Jenny might log in and it's like no go.
You can have a sporty and non-sporty modes, kind of like a vehicle. You get sport mode or not sport mode.
Exactly. Yeah, so it should remember your preferences and you can tailor it to your own level of comfort. But I see that as not only for keeping relationships intact, but ensuring that new boaters are able to choose a time to depart that's safe for them, and conditions that they won't get in trouble under.
I mean, wind is always the big factor. That's where Windy comes in, because that's the one thing that doesn't matter what size boat you're in. You could be, like today we're sitting on a 70 Ocean Alexander. You could be in a 32 Bayliner, if it's your first boat, that type of thing, where it doesn't matter. The wind will do what it wants to do to you.
Yeah, well, and it changes too. One of the features that was suggested by a user was the ability to notify them if these conditions have changed. So most of these models look out over 7 days max. because after that you really can't predict the weather to any meaningful degree of reliability.
Yep.
And right now, most of the data seems to point to, maybe over 48 hours, there's a higher degree of reliability that these users can rely on. But it'll actually watch the conditions for you. So with any of these, briefs, you can ask TidePilot to watch for any material change.
Yep.
And it will notify you if conditions deteriorate. Maybe you need to spend that extra day in Ganges and hit the Saturday market.
Yeah, and the duck wings.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's some stuff up there you just can't miss.
Exactly. So I haven't incorporated that yet, but it's looking out for people in a way that might be difficult to do if you're experienced. I consider myself an intermediate boater.
Yeah.
But whether you're an expert or a novice, I think it'll be helpful.
And is there a feature that's coming into this that'll talk about timing your run too? If you say we're a 8-knot boat, a 10-knot boat, a 12-knot boat?
Yes.
And we want to ride the tide and...
It does.
Okay,
Yeah, so
cool.
it takes into account the type of vessel you're on, like the likely cruising speed. You can adjust that. And then it will also factor in, estimated fuel consumption, so you're not surprised if you suddenly can't make it to your destination.
Yeah.
But speed, every variable we can bring in, we want to one spot and just make it really easy to roll up into that recommendation.
One of the things you brought up earlier when we were just starting to go through this was the fact that this is a learning tool.
Yeah.
It learns as it goes along and learns people's habits and learns basically how to fix itself along. How do you do that?
Yeah, so kind of the cutting edge today of building like an AI company is it's called AI native, and what that means, to me, that definition probably changes based upon where you are, where you're Seattle or Silicon Valley, but the ability for this platform to evolve on its own. So with TidePilot, for instance, when you logged in yesterday, there were some errors. This is the worst it'll ever be, really, because it's taking into account everything that it sees, and then it's rolling that up to various agents. Each of those agents has a role. There's a user experience agent, there's a back-end agent, there's a data agent, there's a CTO, and they all work together, with an orchestrator. And so it takes that information, it suggests improvements. It looks to me right now as the conductor of that orchestra to determine, is this the path we should take? Does it align with what you know about the user? And I'd say most of the time it's spot on. And so I say yes, then it goes out and it makes improvements. So as we get more users on here, I think will start compounding and improve even more than it has over the last few weeks.
That's crazy. Can you imagine, you get Garmin to get their hands on this?
Oh, that would be...
It takes autopilot to the whole next level.
It does. You still have to look out. You still got to look. I can tell you how many people...
I know,
they go down and they set the autopilot and the course, and then they go down and leave the helm. Not the best thing in the world.
No.
But being able to plan a trip like this and make it so it's comfortable, because that's always one of the things that comes up when we work with somebody on a boat, is that maybe one person has the experience. When my wife and I met, she had never been on a boat, never. So, and then she marries a boat guy, and then all of a sudden the whole world changed, and it's a different deal. Probably, Jenny was probably just like that. You and I will just go out. We'll take your whaler out. It'll be 3 or 4 foot. Like I said, we'll call that sporty. No problem. Let's go have some fun. Take a blackfin out. I've taken people out in those, and 4 and 5 footers. We're pounding through it, and I look over and, shit, scared them. But if you can get that nailed down and just make it so everyone's comfortable and everyone's on the same page, and let the other partner, maybe it's a her, maybe it's a him. Sometimes maybe it's a him. Who knows? Let the other partner help guide the tour, help plan the trip. When everyone can take some ownership of a trip, it makes it
Yes.
that much more enjoyable for everybody.
I think so. Nobody wants to be held captive on a vessel moving through any conditions. So I think we can empower people and evolve them. Like, the experience becomes more meaningful. Like, you want a piece of that. You feel ownership. And I think there's a whole level of safety that hopefully can come with this as well, just educating users, boaters.
I think you have to know that safety is always number one. That's the most important thing. We've had, how many times have we heard, I shouldn't have left the dock? And it's, the worst thing you can possibly do, and we're all held to a schedule, but to a degree, but holding to a schedule and putting safety aside is never something somebody should do, and this could help with that. And if you can plan in advance, say maybe you were going to spend 3 days, but the weather's going to kick up somewhere using your tool, and now you'll leave after a day, because let me get further down. The wind's going to pick up, and we don't want to cross the Straits and 6 and 8 foot swells, and with
Again,
2 foot woodways on top. Yeah, we've all done that.
I was kidding with Luke on Sunday when he came over.
Yeah.
We asked him if he knew about the carrot crossing, as he was telling me all about this.
Yeah.
Like, huh? I don't know if he told you about it, but
No.
I forget who it was, but it was an old boy up in probably Roach, I think. And we were talking about going out in worse weather. And he said, okay, so what's the worst carrot crossing you've ever been in? I'm like, huh? And he goes, yeah, like you go out in such bad weather, and if it's really bad, that's a 1 carrot crossing. And 1 carrot.
So as you can probably tell, we have now moved inside. It's a beautiful day here in Seattle, but the wind did kick up, and we were a little afraid of not being able to complete this podcast.
Okay, so back to it. Carrot crossings.
Carrot crossings.
Carrot crossings. So it's completely straight-faced, and the level of weather that you go in, how bad it is determines how many carrots it is.
How many carrots?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And
we're not talking orange ones, I don't think.
He does this, and then this, and I said, I get it now.
Yeah.
I just picked that up.
Yeah.
I was like when he and I'm thinking, we're talking Timmy here. So
Yeah.
now I know we're talking carrots.
But he wasn't kidding either. I mean, it was dead. It was dead straight. Like,
Wow.
yeah, either you do a float plane,
Yeah.
and you run it home if that's how you're going to do it, right? Or you just figure out how many carrots it's going to be. You solve the problem real quick after you get home.
Well, maybe that's something we incorporate into TidePilot.
Sure.
Save yourself 3 carrots.
That's
Plan
right.
ahead.
Here's the number for Kenmore, and here's their schedule.
Yeah.
I've already booked you a flight.
That's right.
Or if somebody's campaigning, I've had my eye on this necklace.
Yeah.
It's a Tide Pilot. I'm looking at 2.75 carats.
What are the worst conditions for us to leave?
Yeah,
on
well, I'd like to find the worst day that we can cross the Strait of Georgia. So yeah, you look at it either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's personalized for whatever your needs are.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep, and the AI agent will figure that out.
Exactly.
It'd be kind of funny to see if you could scramble its brain with something like that.
I mean, we can test it out.
I plan on it.
Yeah, good.
Oh, if there's a way to break it, Timmy will find it.
Well, that's good.
He'll go through it, and he'll just. I mean, that's a great thing. He'll test it out. He'll go through it, and he's going to get to do a fair bit of cruising this summer. So I'm sure it will get its run through with Timmy.
Oh yeah.
Well, and that's the goal, right? I mean, right now we're giving it away.
Yeah.
So, we really want people to use it, not only because I think it'll be helpful, but selfishly, I want to see it improve.
Yeah.
And so the more users we have feeding it information and it advising on, the better it's going to get. And then we can figure out, what to do with this in the long term.
How much geography does it cover?
So I was actually shocked. I mentioned earlier that I was in Oslo.
Yeah.
And I pulled it up thinking it wouldn't work, and it did.
Okay.
Wow.
So the constraint right now is really buoys. So it has weather forecast models worldwide. It has basic maps. It's not meant to replace navigation.
Yeah.
But what we really need worldwide are more sources for real-time marine conditions. Mm-hmm. And so that'll be something that I sic the agents on later to figure out. But right now the goal is really to focus on the Pacific Northwest.
Okay. And how far up? Like into Desolation, into the Broughton's?
Into the Broughton's,
okay,
and more. So as it gets requests, and if it's unable to fulfill those requests, it should on its own seek out those capabilities. And so I'll be notified, once a day of kind of what how it's expanding and what it needs to do.
Yeah.
If it's working the way that we've designed it to.
So cool.
Thanks.
Are you eventually hoping this gets worked into standard navigation packages for on boats like this? This boat particularly has Garmin.
Yeah.
You have Furuno. You've got the various brands, Spray Marine. Those are the top three, obviously. Then you have Simrad and a couple others, but those are the main three. And what equipment does somebody need to be able to actually use this properly?
Yeah, so we've set this up so that it's a progressive web application, which is just a way of saying it's like any app you might use on your phone, but it doesn't require you downloading an app. So this is built to work on mobile, on an iPad, on desktop, anywhere that you have a screen and an internet connection.
Okay.
You know, I haven't tried my watch yet. It's probably not going to work on my Apple Watch, but it should be able to push notifications through eventually. And the goal, I would love to see it build before the end of this summer, is the ability to just text it.
Yeah.
Call it. I mean, this is an advisor that you should be able to work with like any person in your life, just with more information available to it.
Wow.
After watching some of the golf tournaments, have you seen this where they have all the data from, I think it's Whoop straps is what they're advertising.
Yeah.
But like Apple Watches and all these activity monitors, you know, like if you figure out somebody's actual comfort level.
Oh, wow.
By
monitoring their heart rate.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know, so does 2 feet really scare you?
Yeah. There's no limit to what's possible, as long as people approve. Right? Yeah, consent's big on the platform.
It senses, it knows what the swell is supposed to be, and it uses the Apple Watch to determine if the swell is really as big based on the elevation you go up and down. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, this is funny. Like on the handball court, I have zero interest in what's happening with my heart rate, but in different weather conditions on a boat, you know, now I'm interested.
You would.
You know, like,
all right.
When am I actually going to get scared?
Yeah, we're going to set that up.
I love it.
Yeah, or do you come into, really when you come into dock, that's when your heart rate starts to come up. Windy day like today, like, okay, you know, and as you kind of need to be, we find out that, you know, from waist up, I look perfectly calm. The knees below, you don't see it, are doing this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and the heart rate's going, but you can't show it. They'll never know. Especially when you have guests on board, they can never know.
Yeah. Well, I could see a world too where just, you know, arming users and guests with the ability to share images of like real-time conditions can actually help determine like, okay, well, what is the level of comfort? What's actually happening out here? Like the more data, whether it's a heart rate monitor from your watch or, you know, images of those knees shaking as you approach the dock, the better for everyone. Like there's a way for this to just compound even more so than the, you know, government or private data that it's plugged into today.
Yeah. No, really cool. You want to show us how it works?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Let's log in.
Okay, so we're logged into Tim's account.
Yep.
And
So this is what I was playing with last night. So I'll let you drive from here and just show us what we're looking at.
Yeah, so what we're seeing on the screen right now is an example of a brief that TidePilot pulled together. Let's create a new route. Like we want to head from somewhere nearby. So we go to trips. I'm going to choose new trip. And we can either use where we are now, Seattle.
Yep.
We can pick someplace else.
Can I tell it GPS coordinates?
You can.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you have GPS coordinates readily available?
No, but we could awfully quick.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
So on the back end, it's actually using latitude and longitude and then resolving that to the nearest city or marina to illustrate something that's more meaningful.
If you're on this, can it pick the latitude and longitude if you have GPS set up on the iPad? Will it pull that, like you say, here I am right now, or do you have to enter the?
That's what it should be doing with use your location. So if you were to click on your location, and then, I mean, let's just tell it what we think we want it to do. We'll use the mic. I need to head from Elliott Bay Marina to Friday Harbor, over the next 3 days, I need the best weather window. And we'll
Got
hit
to be
enter.
kidding me.
And it's actually building a brief, so it's going out. It should be routing the course.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't navigation, so it may route over some land right now because it's still trying to figure out water versus land, but it's looking at the conditions in all the different legs of that trip.
Yep.
It will also it'll estimate based upon your preferences how long it should take to get you there, and look at those different weather windows and condition windows to determine is this favorable or not.
I'm curious to see the tide thing too, to figure out when we need to go places. Because like if we were trying to meet your boat and your boat, somewhere, that takes 20 minutes probably to sit there and look at the tides and figure out, okay, you guys go 25, we're going 12 if we're towing. When if we're all trying to do happy hour at 4.
And that's really
what do I have to do here?
Told TidePilot, I'm trying to meet friends for happy hour at 4 from my current location. When should I leave?
Yeah.
Well, for everyone watching, really want feedback on this. So as you're trying to solve for these scenarios, let us know. And that way I can feed it to the application and it can solve for that. But so what we're seeing here is TidePilot has drawn a route from Seattle up to Friday Harbor.
Yep.
And from a high level, it thinks it's favorable. And it's either going to define this as favorable, it's going to tell you caution, or no-go. And that's all based upon weather advisories and conditions and your own personal preferences.
Yep.
But here we can see that, the distance, it looks like along the way, we're going to have max wind of 14 knots from the west. It's, 2-foot seas. And then it allows you to see the max conditions at any leg of this trip. So, maybe current might be most important in order for you to get to happy hour on time.
Yeah.
And so we can just ask it to highlight leg 4. And here's where we're going to run into that 1.7 knot current that you should be aware of. You can also, similar to windy, adjust the time window.
Yeah.
And so if we were to scroll here, maybe we want to check out, you have a meeting that's occurring now and you need to look a little bit later in the day. We can see real time how those conditions are changing.
Yeah.
It still looks favorable. It should be comfortable given all of your preferences. But the goal here is to allow you to adjust based upon your needs and have all the information you need in order to decide, is it safe? Is it comfortable? Should I leave the dock?
Yeah, really cool.
You can dive into more of the detail per leg. It'll actually provide you all the max values. So, maybe we want to see what things are like in between Kingston and Everett on the outside. And so you can see that data here and kind of scroll through and see how it changes. The fuel assumptions, if you're not starting with a full tank, you can adjust that here and it will determine, in fact, let's just try this now, but maybe you're starting with 35 gallons.
I can't even.
Oh no.
Which, it sounds
I'd get out of the
ridiculous.
breakwater.
Yeah, but sometimes people don't check these things in relation to where they're heading. And then they're calling, U.S. boat tow services or the Coast Guard for help.
Yeah.
And so
here's a plug for somebody, if you have sight glasses on your tanks, make sure you open the valves. It's just a little side tip. Based on fuel, I know somebody that just ran into that issue.
Well,
didn't open the valve. They didn't open the valve. They thought the valve was open, and it was not, and they found out the hard way.
Oh no! Well,
that's actually pretty good. Like running out of fuel stories. Do you have a good one of those too?
Thankfully, no.
Okay.
But we've come close.
Okay.
So early on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not yet. How about yourself?
I've got a buddy who was coming up to meet us at Cap Sandy in Anacortes, and he borrowed father-in-law's boat, right? And it's a Camino Troll for anybody who knows. He ran out of fuel coming up through La Conner. Had to sit out in the bay and bleed the line.
Oh no.
Yeah, and running out of fuel in a diesel engine is not the same as running out of fuel in a gas engine boat, for anyone watching.
Yep.
Two different animals.
Yep.
Why is that?
A diesel is actually a different type of engine. It runs on compression, and you can't have air in the line. You actually have to bleed the line and make sure that there's no air. So without air, it cannot generate the compression it needs to keep running. Versus gas is ignition. It uses spark plugs, and it uses fire basically to explode in a cylinder. Different. And when you run out of fuel in a diesel, you have to reprime everything. It can actually cause damage to injectors as well. Not very common that happens, but they're different types of engines. So it's just your compression in a diesel engine is thousands of pounds psi versus a gas engine. You might be 180, 200. I mean, it's a different type of an engine.
So don't run out of fuel.
Don't run out of fuel, especially not in a diesel.
Well, and TidePilot thinks it's a no-go.
Yep.
Based upon your fuel level.
Thanks,
So
TidePilot.
You're welcome.
Nice.
And then a few other, there's a feature on here that actually one of our users suggested, and this is the watch until departure. And this I think is pretty cool because, it's hard enough to go out and gather all this information from different sources once, but doing that repeatedly up until the point of departure, most people aren't doing it all. So TidePilot will do that automatically for you and then email you if things have changed or let you know that things are fine still, so that you're not worried about the additional carrot that you might owe at the end of the trip. Yeah. But and then there's also just a basic advisor down here that you can chat with. So you can ask TidePilot anything about the trip. It's going to pull in information. We've built it so that its focus is accuracy, not speed.
Okay.
You can ask ChatGPT anything, but that's a model that's focused on speed.
Yep.
It can hallucinate a lot. We've set up many evals here to ensure that you're getting accurate information. With that said, you should still make the decision on your own. TidePilot's an advisor.
I love it.
The
Legal disclaimer.
Little asterisk on the bottom. Well played. Well played.
Corporate cancel for Dave and Tyler. So you can tell that's scripted.
But yeah, that's the gist of TidePilot.
Awesome.
And so, what is the website?
Yep. So you can go to TidePilot.ai. You can sign up there. I think we have almost 250 users right now.
Wow.
And then we've capped the initial kind of beta user group at 500. So if you sign up now, you can use it for free for the summer. We'll lock you in at $10 a month max. Both Tyler and I have real jobs. This isn't something that we're trying to build into something that supports us, but I really want to get in the hands of everybody because I think it can be really useful, and I want to continue using it myself selfishly.
Yeah, and it's a great price point for all the other stuff that's out there. I think if you tallied up the windies and the iTides and the predict winds and all that, you guys you're priced aggressively.
Yeah, so the goal is to just have this priced at cost.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in the future, but right now, really just want to get as much feedback from everybody that we can.
The more you use it, the better it gets for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to ask it if I should run through Deception Pass or run all the way up through La Conner one of these days. That'll be my next test of it to see what it'll talk about. Because it watches more and more of us cruise. Right? It's going to start to know.
Yes, and I have noticed that on calmer days it is suggesting going outside.
Yep.
And as it's rougher, it'll but suggest the inside.
Oh, so it's already doing that. It'll take you in.
Yeah, which I don't. I honestly don't understand how it knows to do that already. I mean, it's kind of tribal knowledge that we have, just boating in this area.
Yeah.
But it's going to be really interesting to see how it learns from all of us and then passes that on to people that don't have the benefit of boating experts, via text or on the VHF.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. Awesome. So you said that you're capping it at 500. You're at about 250.
Capping at 500. We're at 250 when you do log in and begin using it. Feel free to email me with any feedback. This is a self-learning
Be careful. That's
platform.
500 people sending you.
Well, but I also have an AI agent customer service.
Okay,
rep.
yeah, all right.
So, yeah, so don't worry about me.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
But feel free to email Dave at TidePilot.ai.
Yeah.
That feeds directly into that customer service agent.
Okay.
So that's another way to get feedback if you're worried that something that occurred, or if you have an idea that you'd love to see in here, it'll feed that into the system as well for it to consider.
Fantastic. This could be a game changer for a lot of people. This will be cool. This will be very cool.
Yeah, we both downloaded it.
Yeah. I'm next.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to share it with you and everyone watching, and can't wait to see kind of where it ends up, and hopefully we can meet up on the water.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks so much. Cheers.
Hey, thank you so much for coming.